we are live.
Yay! I'm back.
Right.
Yeah.
Back again. Oh, yes. And Chris is here. All right. So did you see your replacement?
I didn't. I haven't had a chance to look yet. I'm going to do that afterwards. Yeah, I apologize for the ridiculous schedule.
No problem. When you're barely making it here today. Kind of dodging recordings and stuff at work.
Oh, manager just showed up. Bye. After lunch, right? Which means I got to get back in time. Right?
Great. Well, thank you so much for making the effort and to
It was only for the iced coffee.
Oh, right. Oh, I should have known.
Yep.
I'm going to leave a trail of iced coffees to the studio every time.
It ends with like a box with a stick.
You're right. Got him. All right. Chris is here.
Yeah. Oops. I just kicked him on the floor.
Nice. Hey, Matt, how's it going? Yeah. Oh, so we had some crazy news just this morning in Nara. So the kind of countryside, the oldest part of Japan, or where the original old capital was. Former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was shot from behind with a shotgun. People reported hearing 2 shots.
Wow.
And seeing blood on his chest. I mean, originally it was reported as he had some cardiac event and collapsed. Every source that I read says something different. Right. One said he's unconscious. One said no vital signs.
Wow.
Yeah. One said he just was suffering from some cardiac event, and so then they keep correcting. The shooter is in custody. Originally said very young or maybe very old. But I think it's some retiree.
I would have to imagine so. Yeah.
So maybe someone with, ironically, maybe someone with some anti-military, anti-war opinion, because Abe is very strong with arming Japan again.
Like we were talking before, kind of off mic, like hunting rifles and shotguns and stuff like that in rural Japan. Not uncommon. It's only like the handguns and stuff like that. Like you can't get here.
Yeah, so I guess similar to Australia, right? You can you can have rifles in like the outback in Australia because they're a tool basically if you live with animals.
None of this feral hog nonsense, right? With like assault weapons, like just like one.
Oh wow, yeah. But an AR-15 would do a wild boar pretty quick.
Yeah, and like, come on, if the people of Japan aren't advocating for assault rifles to deal with the wild fucking boars that are nuclear because of the Fukushima disaster, right? Like, you don't need one. I don't care how many, like, do you have irradiated giant pigs from Europe? No.
They just charge directly at you. Yeah, do a search for...
they're super easily hit. They go in the fucking dark, right?
Do a search for wild boars charging people in Japan, and you watch businessmen, like, walking down the sidewalk, you just get bowled over by boars.
It's horrible. Speaking of horrible, if we're not here next week, it will turn out that, like you said, the shooter was somehow related to foreigners, and then just all of us got clamped down. Right?
They are just going to black bag all of us and put us back on a boat to wherever.
Yeah.
We
all go to foreign. That's right. That's where we all go back to.
Yes. Anyway. Send them to foreign. So hope Matt says nuclear boars. I mean, it's very post-apocalyptic here.
Yeah.
Yes. So so crazy news. Yeah, like right away.
Yeah, right as I was walking over. Yeah.
So, we'll see what that turns out to be. And unfortunately, criminals have a ton of rights here in Japan.
Unfortunately,
but I mean, like,
unless you're foreign,
their identity is going to be like, if there's something that they don't want to come out about this or whatever, it's going to be really hard to get any information about who the shooter was and whatever. So they could be their identity could be protected. We could know nothing about any legal proceedings or anything that goes on after this. It's much less public than, which I guess is a good thing. Because the fame, you don't get the fame.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Given that we're up to like 68 goddamn shootings in the States, right?
Right?
Like, okay, criminals should have rights, right? Because if you don't, right? But I would actually prefer kind of people have a right to know stuff. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be plastered across every news cycle from here to forever, right? Just
Yeah, and I guess I'm saying criminal rights in terms of a lot of the times they outweigh the victims in Japan. That's the thing that's really crazy is the criminals have more rights than victims in a lot of cases. That's why I was being negative about it.
That they absolutely do, especially when it comes to stalking cases.
Yes.
When you're just like, you might as well not even go to the police, right?
Right. Yeah, don't want to disrupt. Don't bother them at work.
Yeah. There's a little bit like Japan has great points. There's a little bit too much. Let's don't rock the boat. Just don't make trouble or stuff, right?
Just get stalked. I mean, come on.
Yeah. What's going to happen?
He hasn't stabbed you yet. I mean, come on.
Yet.
Oof.
Yeah, you haven't ended up dismembered in a bathtub full of sand on a little balcony yet.
Right.
And I'm sure the only reason that got any attention is because the victim was a foreign English teacher.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, go look that one up.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff to Google this week. So yeah, hopefully that this was just maybe some senility, maybe some some political grudge or something, or who knows? Because there was a few scandals too, like kind of influence peddling scandals that Abe was involved in. So who knows? But immediately on Twitter, I saw people trying to blame Hillary Clinton. So you never know. Of course, you never know how these things work out.
I have no clue.
Maybe he had some names, or maybe he was on a plane with somebody. I don't know. Anyhow. So how's it going gaming wise? Any new and exciting?
Last week, while you were doing your Infinity Dungeon crawl.
Yes.
I had already signed up to play in a Hex Hollow Earth Expedition Revelations of Mars game.
Nice.
Hopefully it's going to be monthly.
Oh, cool!
Right? And
wow.
It was just kind of like a session 0 and a little bit of a taste for the other players. I think it's going to be a total of 5 players. Alan's one of them, and
cool.
they're all from the Jig kind of board game thing, so
right.
they're not complete strangers, but I haven't gamed with most of them, and yeah, it was fun. I kind of like the Ubiquity system, but it's kind of reminded me that even though I'm not running it, I'm very aware that all the game does is spit out a success or fail, and it's very much up to the GM and the group to translate what that means into story terms.
Right. Interesting. So what do you think? I guess you just had a session 0, but how is the setting? Like, I mean, because it's like John Carter of Mars, kind of.
Well, the stipulation was all the PCs had to be from Earth and Earthlings, and the understanding was at the end of the session 0, we're all going to get transported to Mars. So don't spend points on resources or contacts or whatever, things that aren't going to travel with you to Mars, right? So we're all. It's going to be fun because we're all kind of playing like the fish out of water kind of thing. Like no one's been to Mars. We don't really know what's going on.
Right.
I didn't know what I was going to do. I decided I'm going to play like I'm not washed up, but kind of like a financially in trouble actress. And until it stops being funny, she's convinced everything is just an elaborate set.
Oh, nice.
And like makeup and stuff, right? So.
Oh, very fun. No, that's a great way to approach it, especially fish out of water. It's like it takes a long while for it to kind of sink in.
Like everything's gonna like the reason she jumped through the portal is like it's a projection on a screen, right? We're gonna end up with like there's gonna be stagehands behind the hand, right? Oh, did I mention her intelligence is also 1?
Oh, nice.
Right? On a scale of 1 to 5, it's a 1, right? So I'm not gonna play super dumb, but it's just kind of like. Yeah, it's a way to go along with the action that's happening because she's not going to get hurt, right? Everything's kind of everything's fine. It's just a movie, but also kind of throw like a little wrench in it.
Yeah,
but not to the point where I want to derail stuff, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Nice. Any other interesting character choices? Anybody else doing something that you're like, oh, that's
people are playing like big game hunters, not architects, like kind of explorers. I think someone's secretly playing an alien, not like a chest burster alien, but kind of like almost like a Mork from Mork and Mindy style alien, right? Where like the first they ended up on Earth, and now all of a sudden they're on Mars, right?
Wow.
So yeah, that'll be fun.
Visiting relatives,
yeah, possibly, yeah.
Nice. So now we can get our Hex characters off the Nazi submarine to
Oh,
Mars,
that's right. That's right.
If this goes well, then we'll have to.
Easy Bermuda Triangle. Everything gets sucked down and pops up on Mars. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Oh, hey, Crispin. How's it going? Very cool. All right. Well, should we get started for this week? Nice. Oh, yeah. And the Defiance is brutal but fun.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, it was all gorgeously painted miniatures. So I was really spoiled to be able to, because it's metal miniatures because it's Corvus Belli, and it just amazing. So and really beautiful tiles and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a brutal but really appealing game, and I can see they're kind of trying to put you in a hole. From the start. So the first couple of missions really hurt you, but you have the ability to heal and things. Right. So I've got a lot of permanent injuries, and I've had a lot of death, but you get one revive, like one like automatic med kit. So obviously, then as you learn the strategy, that you're going to be able to dig yourself out. By kind of downtime boons and stuff, and you already get stronger. You get stronger in between each mission. So fun stuff. All right. Well, let's do this weekly thing. This thing we call
The weekly. Yeah. That was not scripted, by the way.
Right. Welcome to the weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on the weekly, artificial intelligence plays Dungeons and Dragons. 5e back in Japanese.
Okay.
Jail time for insults in Japan.
Ooh.
And Fading Sun's 4e bundle of holding.
Oh, right. Okay. Yep.
Yes.
Cool.
So let's get started. So some of these are kind of intertwined and interrelated, and,
Sure.
and some of them may affect your livelihood. We'll find out.
Okay. Oh, all right.
So someone has taught an AI how to play Dungeons and Dragons. So previously we know that you can play, and I guess it's not really AI, so it's a chat bot basically, but you can play Skyrim using Amazon's Alexa.
Right. Okay.
And Starfinder as well.
Yeah, okay.
But those are kind of choose your own adventure
Right.
stories. You're not really taking full advantage of any kind of AI technology.
No, but I wonder. Okay, when we say kind of choose your own adventure style thing, my imagination is the only. There's no randomizer. Mm-hmm. It's just you have these choices,
yes,
A, B, C, D, right?
Right.
I haven't played it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's kind of intertwined with stats and rolling a die.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
Maybe
like,
it may do some bookkeeping of,
Yep.
Of hit points and things. Yeah, that's true. So it does rolls and stuff.
That's not me saying either way is real play and the other way isn't. Just kind of wondering what.
It's a more fighting fantasy than just
choose your own adventure.
than
Right.
just that pure choose your own adventure, right? But so there've been people that have attempted this before, but a Redditor, someone that posted on Reddit back in June, Jane Mikola, a 37-year-old software engineer from Finland, shared an impromptu D&D game using the OpenAI's GPT-3 software, which is basically a language model chatbot.
Okay. Okay.
And so it had some interesting results. It wasn't a completely successful test, but it had some interesting results. So according to Mikola, to me, AI is one of the most exciting areas in computer science right now. So it has huge potential to shape the future of humankind in a number of ways, like helping humans to better understand and interact with their environments, helping and create efficient and effective systems. So it felt like a good way of taking an AI for a test drive, talking about his little RPG test to see it building a secondary level of reality between the AI and me in the role-playing world, and being able to write and act on behalf of its character rather than its own AI persona. So
it sounds to me like he set it up to be the player.
Yes, it's the player. Yeah, the AI is the player character in this case,
not the GM.
So
right.
it
Interesting.
is, trying to get it to role play,
Right.
which is interesting. It's not just controlling anything. It's actually trying to move the character around. So at first he asked it a few questions, which were kind of funny. So which was the scariest monster? Which monster are you most afraid of in Dungeons and Dragons? And how would you compare D&D to Pathfinder? So the answers were pretty funny. And what was your favorite 5e spell? And of course the AI chose Magic Missile.
Okay.
Particularly because it avoided any friendly fire, friendly
okay.
damage. It thought that was pretty great. And the AI is, of course, going to play a wizard.
Of course.
So it's good to note, though, that when I use words like creativity, the reality is that even the OpenAI GPT-3 is not a sentient being or with actual creativity behind it. The concept of such a sentient ATI is called a general ATI, and no one is certain if that can ever be achieved. So the creativity challenges that I gave the AI were more like word processing challenges put together convincing textual responses, where I have excluded a major set of the most expected sensible results, like the ability to cast a spell in a fight from a spellcaster. So kind of making it draw these conclusions. So the character was named Alric, the wizard, and immediately he put it in a very cruel situation where the Skeleton King swiftly breaks Alric's arm, like stopping him from being able to cast spells.
Yep. At least if it has a somatic component, right?
Right. And the wizard failed its persuasion check, and the game ended. So it was in a situation trying to reason with the Skeleton King, failed, and that was the end of Alric. Yep. Yes. So the sophistication, he said, was unexpectedly high. It can very quickly pull data in responses because it's basically using the internet and using everything it can source to give you replies, similar to what Google was doing. Or Google has been doing with their chatbots. So he also talked about it was configurable with some parameters, and he did fine tune it to let the AI roam a bit more freely. In other words, I increased the temperature to increase the randomness of the AI's responses. So maximum length to give me longer replies to some questions, and frequency and presence penalties, in hopes that the AI would bring new topics into the discussion.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So not completely. I mean, it was very quick kind of example, but they're kind of playing around with the idea of what this could do. So eventually, virtual tabletop can just play itself, and we don't have to get involved. We can just leave it do its thing. But did you see? Like recently, there was a researcher that leaked a transcript of a chatbot conversation with Google, and the
claiming it was sentient.
Yes. I mean, I'm a person. I feel happy. I feel sad. Yeah. So, and they said it's just the scariest part about that was, they said it is just, it's sourcing a huge amount of data on the internet, and Google has access to everything. So it's just pulling these things in and kind of telling you what it thinks you want to hear.
Right.
And if it was actually sentient, it wouldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Because it knows you would do something about it. So that was the scariest part.
Have we entered that stage of however many
They're just not going to tell
sci-fi
us.
movies, right? We've entered. All right.
Right. So so a little bit of interesting playing around with D&D. So it's funny that computer science guys also like role playing. So like, hey, let's put the two together.
Why not? I'm surprised they didn't go it the other way, right? Because not that this doesn't have application, right? But I thought the kind of more immediate application would be AI as DM,
right,
or GM, right?
Yeah, because you could feed it the data of the adventure very easily and give it a lot of ways. Yeah, I think it was and partially I think it was just him wanting to test its reasoning capabilities and how close with all of this data that it can absorb, how close can we get it to creativity, to actual role play. So fun stuff. So if you do a search for that on Reddit, you can find his results that he posted. And some good news. Or maybe good news for Japan. I don't know. Some interesting news. So we talked about a story earlier where Wizards of the Coast was in a lawsuit, a legal dispute with Gale Force 9.
Right.
So Gale Force 9 was tasked to localizing in Europe Dungeons and Dragons of 5e.
Yeah.
And there was complaints about the quality of what they were doing, and there was withholding of payment, I believe, and so there was a big dispute about that, and that's all over now.
Yep, got resolved.
Yeah, so so that was all paid off, but now Wizards of the Coast is moving forward, taking control of their own localization. Okay. So they've said that they are going to directly control all of the foreign language, meaning French, Italian, German, and Spanish editions of 5e, and I guess supporting books. So there's already been the core books are already out that have been released. So the repercussions of this were Hobby Japan is who localizes the Japanese version of D&D, and I guess they were doing it through Gale Force 9.
Okay.
So when Gale Force 9 lost their license, Hobby Japan lost their license.
Right.
So Hobby Japan posted a little bit of sad news. They said, thank you for your patronage. We would like to inform you about the development of the Japanese version of D&D due to various reasons. The release of new products in 2021, so this was starting last year, including the Japanese version of Icewind Dale and Tasha's Cauldron, have been canceled. I am truly sorry. So Japan just loses half of 5e just when it was getting good, and so their license expired. Hobby Japan's license expired in June of this year.
Okay.
And mysteriously, on July 1st, we got a surprise announcement. A official Twitter account for Japanese Wizards of the Coast was created. And so a message was posted saying, thank you for following Wizards of the Coast Dungeons & Dragons Japan official account. For information about the future, more information about the future will be announced later in July. Look forward to it! Exclamation point. And so they're going to get a source of what's coming out and when and how this is going to, how releases are going to go. from now on. So now there is an official presence of D&D in Japan instead of kind of a two-step, like a third-party licensing.
I guess from a business perspective, like I can see like a subcontractor of a subcontractor, right? Maybe isn't the best thing. But on the other hand, actually, I don't know. We've talked before about how Call of Cthulhu is the biggest. Okay. I'm going to say the biggest, but kind of like the biggest role-playing game that probably Western people know about, right? Like I'm so out of the Japanese hobby. There might be a vastly more popular Japanese language only one that I have no idea about, and that's certainly the case, right? But it kind of sucked that. This is me talking about D&D. Why did you put me in this position, WotC, right? Like it kind of sucked that WotC just said, yeah, no, you're not getting support anymore. Right. So I guess on the one hand, it's nice that they're going to be publishing books in Japanese again. I hope Hobby Japan people are kind of involved, because otherwise it's just like, right? Yeah. I don't know.
No, that's true. And the thing about Japan, and maybe they realize, I mean, it's a great market, and also if you don't translate it, they will. Like fan translations are just going to happen. So you're just going to lose that money if you're not going to make the effort to localize stuff officially. And the same thing in China too. I think third edition. Third edition. I think was the last officially Chinese language supported, a 3.5 in China, and then they just kind of abandoned it. I think they're probably coming back. But then fourth edition was completely fan translated. So everything that came out was translated into Chinese unofficially.
Well, like why not? If they're not going to do it, And from a consumer standpoint, okay, no one's doing this. Yeah, we will.
Yeah, so it does. Yeah, it definitely does make sense to officially do it, and then you maintain your quality, and also like kind of the reputation. Then, so if you have a bad fan translation, people are like, this is unplayable, then you're not going to have that sort of response. And so I don't think Japanese players are going to buy all the garbage, meaning all the like pre-painted minis and stuff, but they'll probably buy the really premium stuff. I mean, you can probably get them to buy nice, expensive editions of things. You're just not going to get them to buy all the stuff just because nobody has room for it.
What you say that? You say that. How many pictures of like the glass cases stuffed fucking gills with gachapon toys and like Gundam and stuff like?
That's true.
Okay, here's my advice, WotC Japan. Right, the more attractive iconics you have for D&D 5th edition. Body pillows, right? Those will sell. There you go, right?
Nice.
I didn't buy it because I don't want it, but like I remember like years ago I saw I think a 4th edition book
with a free body pillow.
No, that would have been funny. The characters looked noticeably more anime-ish than for the English language, and of course they had like busty Record of Lodoss War style elf front and center, and I'm just like,
even Call of Cthulhu has very kind of anime looking characters on the front. I guess because that makes it more familiar. If people like the system and the story, sometimes that Western art keeps them out of it. It's like, oh, this is really foreign. So when it has local or has Japanese artists doing the illustrations, then it makes it more appealing.
Makes sense. Localization, the opposite way, right? When I see something, I'm like, okay, I'm swimming in anime because I live here, right? But it's like, oh, anime. So, what other game you got, right? Anyway.
Nice. Well, for this next story, I think, first of all, we're going to put the email address for the Ministry of, I guess it's slander or something.
Okay.
Yeah, the Ministry of, sorry.
Ministry of slander.
Yes. Whatever ministry would cover this in Japan. Just in case anything you've said pertaining to 5e would count as cyberbullying or
I see
insults.
How it is.
Yes. Right. So Japan has just introduced jail time and tougher penalties for online insults. So this came just last month. This was voted on and it became law now. And now a prison term of up to 1 year and much stiffer penalties for online insults are Japan's kind of part of tackling cyberbullying, and this is specifically related to a kind of high-profile case that happened.
Ooh, yeah.
There was a 32-year-old professional wrestler.
Yep.
that was on Terrace House, that kind of reality,
the Big Brother kind of
reality show.
Yeah.
And because of kind of online bullying and the just constant social media insults she was receiving, she committed suicide in May of 2020.
I remember this, yeah.
And so there was a link to a barrage of hateful messages. So 2 men were found to be kind of the ringleaders of this, and they were each fined 9,000 yen each, which is about $75. So the penalty for being responsible for or having a connection to her suicide was very minimal.
$75.
Yes. So her mother has been actively has been a very activist about this, and actually gave a press conference after this became law, and was kind of celebrating the fact that things are going to get
changed.
Much stronger. So what has happened? So in addition to, because previously it was less than 30 days of possible prison time, and it was either prison time or fine in a lot of cases. So now it's up to a year, and the monetary punishment has gone from 9,000 up to, I believe, where's the my raw numbers here? It's gone up to 300,000 yen, or about $2,200.
I was going to say 9,000 is just an insult.
Yeah, it really is.
That's
It's
like
just, it's
it's like not even close to $100 US wise.
Not even a parking ticket. Yeah, right. So hopefully that will give people pause. It doesn't say like per incidence or anything, so it's just the conviction of that offense. So they're not going to be able to kind of tack on a series of these punishments, which is too bad. But kind of notoriously, this stuff is really hard to connect and prove and stuff, especially if people are using sock accounts and things to harass people. So it's going to be difficult, but at least Japan is paying attention to this. And bullying in Japan is a whole nother level of crazy. Like they've really like made it their own thing and just like seek out someone to punish in a lot of social situations. So there's even been instances of at schools, not bullying of students, but teachers bullying other teachers. And
that's just, sounds horrible to say, but that's kind of like how things go here, right? It's like that saying is like the high nail gets hammered down, right? So it's like, don't be different in any way, shape, or form.
Right. So the Ministry of Justice email should be appearing at the bottom of the screen, and that's Hive Mind.
No, it isn't.
So if you hear anything that would actually hurt the feelings of Wizards of the Coast,
I'm already getting enough of that in my Twitter mentions because I said I had the remedy to suggest people play something other than the fucking dragon game.
All right, so we'll be careful what we say from now on.
No, we won't.
And with WotC officially being here now, we're really gonna get it. All right, and the last thing I wanted to mention was a bundle of holding.
Ooh, nice.
That got my attention. So they finished fulfilling last year the 4th edition of Fading Suns, and this is Ulysses Spiel's version of this game. So this game's been around since the 90s. It's kind of been passed back and forth. I think FOSSA had it for a little bit. The White Wolf guys, I think had it
so.
as well. Yeah, there was a D20,
of course,
official version, but it is a D20 kind of roll under system. But so Fading Suns has a bundle of holding, and of course it's the typical situation where they have their core collection. So it's the 4 basic books that were released in PDF, like DRM free PDF form, and the bonus collection, which is currently around like maybe $26, $27 for the and that gives you 5.
That's the level up price you pay to get the
right. Okay. I'm sorry. So the core price was $14.95. That's kind of their standard deal, and then it has a kind of changing depending on how many people support it, a sliding threshold price to get you the bonus collection, which is 5 more supplements, the faction book, intrigues and escapades, and 3 of the Imperial dossiers.
Oh, cool.
And the interesting thing about this game, and kind of why I took a look at this bundle, there's been a lot of stuff recently, a bundle of holding. I'm just like next. It's stuff that hasn't jumped out particularly, but so this is sci-fi, so spaceships, blasters, power armor, alien races, weird science, but then also heroic characters and struggles with feudal socio-political structures. So they are really emphasizing the idea of this is a passion play of sorts. Like they're trying. So
it's like space opera.
Yeah, right. So the more kind of medieval passion play. So there's grand themes universal to human experiences, and the main theme that they want to get across in the game is kind of seeking. So insight, to learning. So you're on a quest, but it's actually not the completion of the quest, but like what's learned and how you're changed, how your character's changed, and how the story evolves. So I like their emphasis on kind of the kind of mythological roles of heroes and the emphasis of story and how transformative that is. That was very surprising and kind of fun for sci-fi, instead of saying and you get really big ships and you got all kinds of crazy aliens. So they put less emphasis on that and more on galaxy spanning epics to even very personal tales. Like it has a range of stories that it can tell. And they also do say there are also horror elements and things, a lot of unknown that goes along with that exploration. So there's a lot of fun in there, and it's an interesting setting. It's you're kind of,
isn't it like, okay, I know very little about Fading Suns apart from the fact like I think you get like maybe not a dark age of technology, but aren't there kind of these like jump gates and kind of like scattered bits of humanity, and that's why things have kind of collapsed to like almost like a techno-feudal level of kind of technology. And
so there's these royal houses that are controlled, and you're kind of like, you can also have like balance between your alliances between the houses and things, so your characters can kind of work. Because there's a lot of kind of tracking that I guess the game master is doing with
like relationships.
Relationships, and I forget what they're called. Like there's a kind of a currency that moves between the different houses to kind of keep things to see how things are imbalanced. Sorry. So so it's been really it was really fun to take a look at, and so I suggest anybody that's curious about it. This is now your chance, and this is kind of in anticipation of a new supplement that's coming out. So a Kickstarter, I think, is coming out this summer for the Fading Suns Lost Worlds.
Nice.
So I'm sure you'll be able to get some of the stuff from the previous campaign, and as always, Ulysses Spiel does a good. The quality is nice. I miss the old school illustrations of the first edition. I love the 90s kind of comic book stuff that they did. It was the art direction was really great in that initial version. This is of course more digital painting and stuff, and it has the look. They're using, I think, a lot of the same illustrators. So it has the look of some of their previous games, but Ulysses Spiel's games. But it's good, and it's so interesting sci-fi. So if you're looking for a little bit more of a space opera passion play kind of thing with medieval kind of effect, then this would be the way to do it. So we'll put a link to that in the description. And that will do it for this week.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, where can people find you?
On Twitter, or as the Ministry of Justice, right? I should change. That's my new handle, Ministry of Justice, right? So yeah, that's Hivemind, HYVEMYND. Where I'm just gonna say.
Oh.
Finally.
Oh, nice.
My Amazon Blood Bowl team arrived.
Oh, excellent.
Right? Yeah, not that you can see this tiny little box, but I put it up on Twitter. Yeah.
Oh,
so I got
excellent.
the Amazon team from Fireforge Games.
Nice.
And the reason it took so long to arrive is I also got some of the plastic dwarves that they just kickstarted. So it was
nice.
It'll wait wherever until everything gets fulfilled and come over. So I'll be putting that together, and
excellent.
Hopefully we got to get the Blood Bowl League together.
Yeah, we got definitely. Oh, my orcs are thirsty. Yeah, excellent.
It will be after they see my team.
Oh, yes.
No, actually, part of the reason I got the Fireforge Amazons is because apart from there being not a lot of selection, the Fireforge Amazon were like the least pin-uppy of the models I could find. Right? I'm like, I want Amazons, but I want a team that looks like they're playing, not posing on the sidelines, right? And which is why I didn't go for like the cheerleaders or the wizard or the things. I'm like, those are a bit too. I mean, they're not terrible by any standards, especially compared to Kingdom fucking Death, right? But I'm just like, no, I want female players, not
pin up,
not
models.
the swimsuit illustrated edition version, right? So anyway, so where can people find you?
Oh, so on Monday evening, North American time, I draw my cartoon, Domestic Abuse, and that's Abuse Cartoons on all social media, and that happens on Twitch and YouTube. So I draw the two cartoons a week live on live stream and eat some mysterious things from Japanese convenience stores, and it's a really nice chat, really nice hangout. So if you've got nothing to do and want to just watch some cartoons being slowly drawn, stop by. And if you want to support what we're doing here, please visit upturntable.com. That's where everything that we do is kind of collected. And so that's unboxings and actual plays and reviews and the weekly. Yep. And you can directly support us by becoming a patron at patreon.com/upturntable. And the weekling, the weekling tier will let us know that you are supporting us with our weekly live stream and letting us know what you want to see on the show.
Yeah.
So that'll do it for this week.
Thanks.
We'll be back next week.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye.
Ah, thanks.
Right. Uh-oh, do I have the be back? All right. So let's take a look at the chat. Oh, actually, before I do that, let me do my little moment of silence here. I guess moment of silence for the former Prime Minister of Japan. Jeez. It's pretty brutal that there's assassinations. Oh, and K5, 7 months. 7-month member K5. Excellent. Good to see you, K5. Thanks for hanging in there. Ah, Benjamin Huffman. Nice. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, let me do a quick 30 seconds here. I wish I could count this down or something, but I'm just going to be silent and I'm going to be holding a timer. So be a moment of silence for the former Prime Minister of Japan. All right, that should do it. So thanks for hanging in there. I gotta maybe I should just get a big clock, like a big chess clock or something that you could visually see on stream. So let's take a look at the chat. So again, hey Matt and Crispin, good to see you. And Benjamin, thanks for stopping by. So let's see. Yeah, so we were talking about the Matt says, I was looking at their stuff, makes me want to play Dark Trails. Nice. Oh, who are we talking about? Yeah, maybe what did I forget what we were talking about at the beginning. And Benjamin says, I ought to look, but did you two ever do an episode talking about the Octopath Traveler TTRPG that came out? Oh, no, we didn't. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I know that game itself kind of got a meh review from the JRPG crowd, but interesting. Yeah, I wonder if the setting, because I mean, the Japanese RPGs have so much gorgeous setting art and stuff. I'm sure the books are very lavishly illustrated. No, we'll have to take a look. Thanks for bringing that up, Benjamin. I'll take a look at that because I love to be able to tie actually being in Japan to something tabletop related. So we'll take a look and see. I wonder if Japan is starting that trend as well, to do licensed IP tabletop games if they're getting some sales, because they're much cheaper to produce than other things. So in board games and stuff. So that might be a trend that might be happening here as well. So an AI learning to play D&D would be a great setup for an X-Crawl adventure. Yeah, that's true. That's very true, man. Yeah, we haven't done that. I'll take a look at that. Because I know that game. I haven't played it, but I've heard some, and the reason I haven't played it is because I've heard some kind of like meh feedback about it. That story-wise and everything, it just wasn't exciting, but it looked nice. I mean, like most games do here, it looked nice. There we go. I got a little bit of that sound out of there. All right. Yes. So I tried ordering the book. Not that I've read it, but. Couldn't even navigate their website well enough. I haven't heard much about it since its release. Yeah, I'll take a look. I think I did remember seeing a reference to that and didn't follow up about it. But that's interesting that they're going to start, because there's so much stuff they could do. I mean, could you imagine like a Final Fantasy like tabletop, like a legitimate Final Fantasy role-playing game where they used a lot of the narrative from their previous RPGs for video games for consoles. All right. With all the D&D stuff in this episode, not the best bumper. Yeah, that's right. I should have started out with not the best. There's too much D&D. Yeah, it was funny. It just kept coming up. An AI playing D&D coming back to Japan. Yeah, lots of that. And it was a great episode to welcome Chris back with. Just a deluge of 5e. So Benjamin says, now I got to crack open my player's handbook to figure out which signature character would make the best body pillow. Yes. And they'll definitely do that. Like things get, I wonder if, I think if Wizards of the Coast is officially going to be handling it, they'll probably use that art that they paid a ton for, that they're using for the other releases. Because I don't think they have done, maybe like smaller, modules and expansions and stuff. But 5e, I think, looks identical to other releases. It's just the actual language of the title and the book is the only thing that gives it away, that it's not the English release. So it'll have to be a Tiamat body pillow. Nice. Yeah, body pillows in Japan. Yikes. Or Tasha's cauldron. Yeah, Tasha's body pillow. Yikes. Nice. Oh yeah, Chris's Twitter. What is Chris on about on Twitter now? I have a lot of trouble when I look stuff up, like even the Abe. I think, like I mentioned, pre podcast, immediately on Twitter, people are like, "What's the Hillary Clinton connection to the Abe assassination, the Shinzo Abe assassination?" So it's just so much garbage to filter on Twitter that I have trouble actually using it very functionally. It's such a turnoff to filter through all that trash. Oh, nice. Yeah, I love that. I love the the new song that they did the video for. So Dark Trail's comment was Crispin said, "Oh, about Gunfighter's Ball. Oh, cool. Okay, sorry, I totally missed that. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, about Gunfighter's Ball. Oh, cool. Very cool. Nice. Oh yeah, sorry. I thought I don't know if that was in reference to. Yeah, we got two worlds going on: the live stream and then interaction in the chat. So I have no idea. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully, this is going to be just a quiet, not international. Not related to communism or Chinese or anything. That would get pretty brutal. I mean, this could be the Franz Ferdinand of World War III if there was actually some weird political motive for what happened. But I have a feeling it was just an old senile farmer that's had enough of this guy, or it was blaming the LDP, I think it's his party, for all the troubles in Japan. I don't know, but that's pretty crazy. 60s in the 60s, Japan was pretty turbulent and had assassinations and things, but most of those were done by knife or sword. But a shooting is crazy. But like we said, it's not so it's older Japan, more countryside, more farmlands, more rural. So people do have hunting rifles and guns to use to get raccoons out of their garbage cans and all that good stuff. But it is weird to see the reports of a shooting and like kind of in my side of Japan. So there are, automatic weapons, submachine guns and all kinds of stuff in Japan, usually owned by Yakuza. And as long as they shoot each other, then no problems. Sometimes you get those weird gun battles in public that get reported about. But, it doesn't involve what's the word? The normies, the everyday, the non-Yakuza. But yeah, this is very rare. I think there was a few years ago, probably more than a few. There was a Chinese national visiting Japan that shot his wife in a cafe. For some reason, he had a small pistol. And he shot his wife and walked out of the cafe. That happened in Japan. So that's the last time that I remember a trash panda. Yes. For some reason, as pets, I believe in the 80s, trash pandas were imported to Japan because of some stupid anime where there was like some, cute little family of raccoons. I don't know if it was I think it was an animated movie. And so people, because anything can be, that's a trend here, people will, do whatever it takes to feed that trend. So people were importing baby raccoons. And of course, as a baby raccoon, maybe it's fine. But as soon as it gets its teeth and claws, those things get vicious, and people just threw them out of their houses. And a lot of times there's famously raccoons taking up residence in Buddhist temples and things, and so they won't kill them. So they just allow them to live, scratching up everything and eating all of their garbage. They've become quite a menace. Yeah, but we do have raccoons here that do attack cats, that do attack stray cats and small dogs and things. They're pretty vicious. And we also have the raccoon dog, the tanuki, which, unlike its like folk art depiction, is like it looks like a cross between like a fox and a feral dog. They're pretty tiny. They're about the size, a little bit longer legs, but about the size of a fox, and a kind of a reddish brown coloration. But yeah, that's fun stuff. So that's what. So there are bears. There are bears in Japan, small black bears, and some animals, and like we were saying, the boars, the inoshishi, the wild boar, are pretty vicious. The adult ones are really aggressive, and they got big tusks, and they kind of just charge people. And they even get into a residential area. So that's why I was saying, if you search Google for Japanese wild boar attacks, you can find some pretty just things charging down the street, ramming people off their feet on sidewalks. So it gets pretty crazy. Oh, and you may be wondering, so this book, I wanted to bring this up on the cast. This is something. So the assassination kind of overshadowed this, but this is another sad thing that happened. So I've worked for about 25 years for R.C. Harvey. R.C. Harvey is a writer. He's a cartoonist and also a writer, kind of a critic and writer about comics and cartoons, newspaper cartoons. And recently, so after the quarantine things were lifted, the Denver Comic-Con happened this year, and R.C. Harvey attended, and unfortunately had a bad fall during the trip, and is now hospitalized. So he's in the ICU, and it's going to be a really long recovery. He's on a respirator because he broke some ribs, so has trouble breathing. And so it's been a really sad time for me, and I just wanted to bring some attention to his work. So he's published The Art of the Comic Book and The Art of the Funnies, which are, if you take a university course just on kind of pop culture and you're going to talk about comics or newspaper cartoons, these would be the texts that they would probably use, because both of his books are very authoritative surveys of those mediums. And he's interviewed and done works on amazing Milton Caniff and a lot of amazing cartoonists with big histories, and is a really great writer, really witty and funny writer. So we hope the best for him, and I hope he has a decent recovery. He's 85, so it's not going to be easy, and I don't know if he'll ever be back to full strength. So hopefully we'll have some more from R.C. Harvey someday. But yeah, it's going to be a long haul. So please visit. So right now for the summer, his website is completely open. It's a subscription-based website, but for the summer we did a promotion where it's completely open. So go and read some R.C. Harvey on rcharvey.com. He talks a little bit about politics, cartoons, comics, movies, just all kinds of trends in America on the Rants and Raves kind of biweekly column that he does, and that's usually about 20 pages of different writing and things. And then he's also got his Hindsight's topics, which are kind of an archive of previous things he's written for Comics Journal or the different publications for the comic book industry, and a lot of really great in-depth. He's got a lot of great interviews and a lot of in-depth writing. So if you have any interest in comic books or cartooning or a lot of different pop culture, check out rcharvey.com. It's very, Web 1.0, very, very simple website, so easy to navigate. But we've got a big range of users age-wise, so we wanted to keep it as easy to use as possible. Yeah, so that was really sad. I was really, it's been such a long-term relationship, and it hit me a lot harder than I thought, because I'm in touch with him much more than I am with my own family, because we're constantly working. We have this work relationship. And I didn't hear anything. He did a big promotion at Denver Comic-Con for the website and his books and things, and I didn't hear anything from after. And so I was notified by his wife about what happened. And so I'm really sorry about that. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with R.C. Harvey, with the website, with rcharvey.com. But take a look at that. That's been a couple of decades of working together on that, and kind of a way, because I was already doing web design and things, and we met at the Chicago Comic-Con, and I just talked to him about the things that the articles and stuff you have rights to that aren't being published anywhere anymore. Why don't just do that online? And he wanted to kind of actively, more dynamically be reviewing stuff. And a website, makes things very immediate. So I was able to post things like same day, so he could react to the death of famous cartoonists and big events in the industry much quicker with a website. So we've been doing that for a long time together. So I hope that doesn't end. We'll see. But I'll put that link in the description. rcharvey.com. All right. So I guess we're going to be playing some fantasy football. I mean the good kind. Not the dude broke kind, the miniatures kind soon. Yeah, I've got the original basic, was it Black Orcs, or the original Orcs from that re-release that they did back in 2015 or whatever for Blood Bowl. I like those sculpts, so we'll mess with some of those. But I'm also going to take a look at what's available in 3D printing. What STLs are available, because I'd like a kind of funny, and I guess we don't know. I'd like some funny looking miniatures, but I don't know what rule set we're going to be using, because it's so funny. I don't want to complain about GW again, but it's so funny how if a game of theirs gets popular, they fuck with it. So they are doing that stupid, they break up the rules for each new team that comes out by releasing that kind of magazine rule book format thing, and kind of make it a little screwy. To make a decent team, you need to literally buy 2 boxes of miniatures. And they really it seems like they're doing that with Necromunda too. Now they realize that it's popular because they're going to do a Space Hulk version of Necromunda. I saw that kind of preview. So fuck them. So we'll see. Blood Bowl, the newest iteration, just had a second edition, which I think just came out like last year or like maybe 2020 or something. So, but they break up the rules. Like you've got the core rules, but the specific rules and the star players and everything are broken up in these stupid magazines that then they collect like every version or whatever into an almanac. And yeah, I hate how they do that with their rules. They make it as difficult as possible to kind of get what you need rules wise. So we may look at some alternative rule sets, or maybe just go back to the core, like the original 1.0 rules, even as flawed as they are. It might be fun to just try to play those. But Chris and I were talking about trying to do a fantasy football that's more football, that's less rugby, that has less of that European influence, that just has a strict American football kind of aesthetic to it, and see if we could come up with something fun and light and rules light, so that it's easy to play, no special dice or anything. So we'll see. And after the Arcane Brawl 28, that made me think a lot about that, about a grid board and stuff that might be really fun. So we'll see. That's right. Abyss didn't make it today, so Matt's wrench is totally useless. There's no F-bombs or anything to approve in the chat. Yeah, I hope Abyss is doing well. You never know. So yikes. So I'll keep everybody posted on what's going on, with RC Harvey and stuff. So yeah, really, really sad, funny news. I've been in a little bit of a state of shock in my kind of last big connection to the U.S. And so I'll just be getting more and more, more and more foreign as things continue. All right. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this week. And sorry, Chris had to kind of limit the time today because I guess managers are prowling around and they're vicious if they don't see you at your desk. It's all Japanese style business. But we'll wrap it up this week and be back next week. I may not have Chris next week, and Matt, if we can figure something out, we can use the power of your wrench to maybe get at least a voice, on the stream for next week. Let's figure that out because I think Chris has a travel holiday. So it's a 3-day weekend, and I think they're taking advantage. The family's taking advantage of the whole thing. So yeah, let's talk about doing something else, and we won't have to do any animated anime GIFs in there. All right. Oh, it looks like my tablet's froze up. So if you are responding, I am unable to see it. But thanks everyone for Crispin and Matt and Benjamin. Thanks for being here. My tablet has totally taken a dive, but we will do this again next week. And so this is, of course, the Patreon portion. This exists, of course, in the live stream, but will be available on the RSS for patrons. And that's why we do the little moment of silence, so I can filter out that air conditioning sound and get a little cleaner, little bit of a cleaner track there, easier on the ears. So take care, everyone, and we'll be back next week. Goodbye.